Well, hello, everybody. It is exactly 17 minutes till 10 p.m. here in Costa Rica, and we got Darren Gina over in Oregon, and we got, by popular demand, Razor's back. So, hey, guys, welcome to the call. A lot of stuff going on, man. The world's on fire. Things are rocking. I know you watched the show with Victoria, Darren. You were telling me earlier. Could you give us a little synopsis of what you thought about that show?
Yeah, just a super down to earth. You could tell you could see the good vibrations coming off of her as she was talking. Just calm, knowing, knows her information, she's been there for over a decade. Into this whole deal, and I just really liked it. Especially like when you were referring that. At the end of the day, the XRP, it's going to make a whole bunch of people a bunch of money. But the reality is that money is going to go back into, humanitarian type projects.
Love and light.
Yeah, it's not, jets and Bugattis that's what the other guys did. We're looking to do it a little bit different.
Yeah, we want a saucer instead of a Bugatti. I want a Bugatti flying saucer.
There you go.
Right.
Or a Lamborghini flying saucer.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I could do 60,000 miles an hour and with zero noise and zero pollution and zero everything, But anyway, in regards to what she said, because she started on 10-10-10, what did you think about that specifically when she said that it was really taking up all of her time with all these dates? And she said specifically that people actually went to Reno and they had a date, and it was actually physically going to happen. And we've been at this for some time, where this has not only happened once. We've gotten within a quarter inch of them turning this thing on all the way, and then something happens. And then she went back to work and said, "Hey, I got to go make some money. When it comes, it comes. We know it's going to come, but to put a date on it is ludicrous."
Yeah, well, I believe that. I think that there's have to be a higher consciousness in this earth. We need to be thinking about how we can help other people, and one of those things is each of us have to, come in here and actually find out, once you get past all the lies and the nonsense that we've been brought up in, so then, that's not an easy transition. I don't know about you guys. That wasn't like a 9-month transition for me. There was a lot of confusion. Because it's like, well, this is how I was brought up. This is what I was told.
Right.
And now that I look at this, I got to look a little deeper at this because it's totally the opposite. So it takes some time for people to wake up. So, maybe there's a different way to wake up. Everybody's going to do it different. Maybe there's a cattle prod that just actually zaps you awake. I think like you were mentioning about Cliff High, the potential anger of the people that have, gone through the procedure here in the last couple of years, willingly, coerced, but willingly. Trump was out there for 6 months, 9 months, having a daily show about the COVID. And if you didn't have enough common sense to be able to read through the lines,
right,
then sorry, But anyways, what he was saying was that he thinks there's actually going to be a lot of people that will go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs after this is all disclosed, and I agree.
Well, one of the things that resonated with me that she was speaking of was we basically have to be here for those people. You have to have your open mind, but these people have been asleep for so long. I mean, we've been working on this for a while. We're pretty awake. There's still a lot that we don't know, but we're open-hearted, we're open-minded. We're going to have to be here for those people. We talked before you started the recording a little bit about how people will react, and we have to be here for people. I mean, I have family and friends that have no idea what's in store. We need to have our open hearts and our open minds and hold their hands through this, because we don't want more devastation. You know, there's been so much devastation that's happened because of the lies and the manipulation. So when she said the other day, or what day was that?
A couple days ago.
Yeah, that, you know, until everyone opens their mind to it, nobody's going to be ready for it.
Yeah,
So
well, absolutely. And you know, the millennials are going to be the ones that are really the most stubborn, or not the millennials, but the normies.
yeah,
The normies are stubborn as hell, and they come in my rooms, and they're going to probably put some shit below this video too. And you know, we're probably going to have to just turn it on at some point and forget the fact that we still have 10% of the people out there, for argument's sake. I wish it was that low.
Right.
You know, it's probably going to be more like 25, 30% of the people who just refuse to wake up. So we're going to have like institutions in place, not mental institutions, but almost sort of like psychologists, psychiatrists, where they're going to give you some ice cream and a teddy bear and a warm glass of milk and some cookies.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, you normies. You know, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, everything's going to be fine, and sort of gradually bring them into this new world. Because you're right, a lot of them are going to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now, in regards to, you brought up this gentleman's name a couple seconds ago, Cliff High.
Cliff High, yeah.
He slipped. I don't know if you know, about 3 months ago, he was interviewed by Nino Rodriguez. He slipped.
I did see him. I did see that interview. So, but I didn't see the slip. So
he slipped, and he said, he slipped, and he said that he bought Bitcoin when it came off the shelf. So I'm wondering, because when it came off the shelf, I know that it was a 0.000 and an 8 of a penny.
Sure.
That means for a penny, you buy 8 Bitcoins. So I'm saying to myself, holy shit, maybe Cliff High is a multi-billionaire. Nobody knows, because this guy looks like, if he's hanging out at the New York subway, he looks like a hobo that you want to give him a donation.
No, I think, that's part of his charm. He's understated.
Oh yeah.
So, no, he's been in this for quite a while. So
so he might be a multi-billionaire. We don't know how much. He could have thrown $10 at it, which would have made him a multi-millionaire anyway, or he could have thrown a couple of $1,000s at it, which would make him, you know, extremely wealthy, when you take into account that for a penny you get 8 for a penny. Right. That means if you bought $1 worth, you got 800 Bitcoins.
800 of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. $1 worth times 40,000.
Yeah, that's a bunch. 320.
So, hey, Cliff, if you're out there, buddy, if you come across this video, we need to know if you're a multi-billionaire. Come clean. You slip. You might as well, right? I'm sure he'll. Yeah.
You know, when with XRP, I remember trying to find all these different stories, and I came across a story. It was kind of somewhat mainstream, and it was weird. That's what made it so powerful for me, was that it was the owner of the Bellagio, Steve Wynn, talking about $10,000 XRP.
Oh yeah.
In this, and it wasn't like any kind of a big deal. You know, it wasn't a crypto specific article.
Right.
It was more mainstream, and he was just kind of off the cuff talking about it. And I'm like, that guy's he's been a billionaire forever.
Right.
He's in rooms with people that know what's going down, you know? I mean, that's for sure. So,
and isn't he friends with Trump?
Oh, well, I don't know about friends, but I'm sure they know each other. Yeah, I'm sure they know each other.
Well, you know, Trump's in the casino business. Wynn is in the casino business. I mean, like when I used to make pizzas, I remember I used to know other pizza guys.
Sure.
You know, so I'm sure they know each other. So what's your take on Cliff High there, Razor? Do you know who he is?
I really haven't seen any of his stuff, but on the note of the vibrational frequencies and stuff, there's been this destructive narrative going around about just anything, whether we're going to get all this stuff, this technology and it's really a test of faith for a lot of people out there. The narrative is that not enough of you have reached 5D, so basically because of the other people and we see this play out in any societal kind of norm. I can reference it into, boot camp, or if you want to get that one person to start getting in step, towing the line, you say, well, you're all going to do a 5-mile run because of so-and-so. So then you got the rest of the people
Right.
pressuring that one person to get in line. So it's the same type of psychological dynamic to where, you all can't raise your frequency up enough. So it's even already been said just recently, you're not going to get the med beds because there's not enough. You're going to need to be this 5D frequency in order to even get benefit from it. But we're not going to do it right now. We're going to wait longer because there's because of the 3D people. So then you start creating a dissension in the ranks, if you will.
Yeah.
And that certainly don't help raise the vibrational frequency
Not
at
at
all,
all.
because now you just, everybody's just biting at each other, and there was this one video of this person, I'm not going to mention names, but we've had our little bout differences, DM and everything, but I watched that video and I get it. I got nothing bad to say that person had to deliver that message, because I'm doing in ministry all the time. I'm a watchman on the wall. I got to tell people things that they don't want to hear scripturally, or that they're going towards the edge of the cliff. Don't listen to that preacher. Don't, no, you don't understand what scripture says. I got to correct them. And then they immediately say, you're judging me. No, I'm not. I'm trying to help you, so
Well,
it's the same
what?
sort. Yeah, go ahead.
On the judgment thing, Razor, I just had this conversation with my son, who is 29 years old.
Mhm.
Here's the truth about judgment. I used to think it was so awful. I would joke and I'd say, I don't mean to judge people, but they make it so easy. And I was always taught, you're not supposed to judge. But here's the truth. If you're not judging people, you're aligning yourself with the wrong people. You're going to allow the wrong people in your life. You're supposed to set a bar for yourself, right? You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And the reality is if we're not judging, we're not doing what's best for our lives. So
Mhm.
I like what Juan O'Savin always says. He says, I'm not here to be my brother's keeper. I'm here to be my brother's brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And-
the thing is, how do you reach these people? That's the $60,000 question, right? Because
I think you
we'd
hit it
rather
on the
just
nail.
get into a Mexican
I think you-
standoff with you and fight with you than to
No, it's not
come
gonna
into the
work.
movie theater and watch the movie for 2 weeks and then let's sit down and have an intense conversation.
Here
You know what,
it
I
is.
think- Go ahead.
I got it. It's all in scripture. Everything that's happening is in scripture. Okay.
Yeah.
There will come a time when they will not endure sound doctrine. Okay. And that's truth. Whether you want to say this is God's word, or if you're telling the truth about an article or an existence of something or anything, truth is always the tool and everything else. And you can sit there forever and try to drag them along, beat it into them, but you're not going to do anything, because once you've triggered their defensive mechanism, it all shuts down. So what you got to do is, like, you plant the seed, and when they do not endure sound doctrine, you dust off your feet and go to the next town. Scripture, God's word says to do that, and then no longer cast pearls. That's your wisdom, truth, everything else before swine. Now, I leave the last part out because I really don't want to run around calling people pigs, but that's the truth. That's the truth of the word. And I seen a little funny cartoon, and it was a takeoff on the footprints in the sand that we've seen forever, where God, there's only one set of footprints. That's where I carried you. So the cartoon's talking, with a guy, and he says, he says, right there where you see one set of footprints, that's where I carried you. And he says, and over there where the two grooves are in the sand, that's where I was dragging you, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
But Mel, in answer to your question, I don't know if there really is a true answer, but faith is the only thing that will work, because you can have document after document, video after video, all this information that shows the truth. But it's been said over and over in the last couple of years, you can't tell the people, you have to show them. So here we
Absolutely.
are in this movie, we're watching it, we're aware, our eyes are open, our hearts are open. There's no reason to share the information. You know, I have friends say, oh my gosh, what was that article again? I want to look it up and send it to so-and-so. And I said, why are you doing that? You're hurting yourself. You're dragging yourself down. You're letting your vibrations be dropped. And you don't need that. You need to share your love and light and have faith. And that's the only way.
Well, if everybody would vibrate at the highest level right now, okay, minus the 10%, let's say, and we could take out the trash, meaning get rid of the cabal. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., they'll turn on Gesara Nesara, the RV, all of it, it's done. But it takes all of us to understand that the movie is real, the dots are real, Gesara Nesara is real, XRP is real, it's all real. And once we rise up to the occasion and demand, then it happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the story's been going on forever. It's the united we stand, divided we fall. Their idea has always been to divide and conquer. And what do? They separate us by every class out there, you know, color, religion, income. It doesn't matter. It's whatever it is that's going to trigger people that don't have an understanding or that have confirmation bias that refuse to see. So yeah, it's crazy. But what is that song? I'm giving out good vibrations.
That's right.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they really don't, and it's with all the things that they can let out. The one pivotal thing that they could let out first would be the tribunals and the videos and the confessionals.
Absolutely.
And,
so ready.
and you know what? I'll wait for the GCRRV and the Nesara and Gesara. Just play that. Boom.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit back. I got a meme I got pulled off of Facebook. It says, when the government's exploding and everything's going to hell around you, go to your nearest conspiracy theorist for further instructions.
Right.
I mean,
he's a tour guide.
I'll just be sitting there going, like I told you just before, I already got the I told you so t-shirt. It's hanging in the closet, brand new, hasn't been worn. I won't wear it until that day. I mean, I just talked to a former GF of mine. The pizza show's fixing to come into town, and they're doing the trade show at the convention center. And realistically, I could ride into Vegas in the morning. I'm right in the right position. I could grab a job for a few days. You know, I texted him and said, "You guys doing pizza?" He says, "Yeah." And I said, maybe. And he gives me the heads up. He said I'd go in at 10 o'clock Friday, and then basically I wouldn't work the weekend. I'd come back in Monday, and the show opens Tuesday. So, yeah, you know, I'm going to go in and visit my buddies at the show anyway, where I can get in the doors. They'll give me a badge. You know, I can have free pizza, and I haven't seen these guys in a couple of years. But he's one of the ones that I used to send intel to. I have over 60 people on my text messages that I have given notes to, $20 billion notes, mailed it to them or whatever. And some of them have fallen off, but they're still on that list. So when that website comes out, boom, 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 there it is. You know, and now they're going to pay attention because, you know, it's here now. Yeah, they got tired of hearing it. Some of them, there's some real hard stalled people that watch those things every day and everything, and they're waiting just like I am, and it's going to happen. One buddy of mine, a true tried and true soldier, you know, bad dude, right? Garrett graduated high school a year after me. He used to swim on the swim team with me. Went to Red Berets, Special Forces, Army. Then he got his degree, went to a Navy flight school, became a Navy pilot, lost his career at the Tailhook Convention with that sex scandal, which I knew him in high school. That didn't surprise me none. But then he went back to the Army, Afghanistan, Iraq, and all that. And then he even worked for Blackwater for a while. Okay. So now he's got a Tomahawk certification or something to do with the Tomahawk missiles. He works for a private firm. He got moved out here to Vegas. He works at Nellis. He was listening to it for a while, but I think what he did is somebody around him probably told him it wasn't true and everything else, and he said, "No, don't worry about sending me this stuff because it's not going to happen."
Well,
I said,
you have to
"Okay."
understand, though. I mean, so many people.
You didn't let Razor land the plane.
Well,
Sorry.
here's the thing. The reason why he said that, and without me even asking or him saying it, is he's hanging around a bunch of people in the military industrial complex, a private contractor that's got a government contract with a weapon system.
Yeah.
And their job's going away.
Well,
So of course,
Razor, you've already proven though that just because you have however many degrees or whatever your title is, doesn't mean you're not still ignorant about a lot of things.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Right. You got to dig in. You got to dig in and do your own research. It's really difficult, like you said, with don't throw the pearls out to the swine. Right.
yeah,
It's true.
mhm.
It's tiring for us emotionally
Well,
to actually try to help, but have it thrown back at us.
But
I know I've experienced that. I don't do it anymore.
Oh yeah, you get wore out. I'm into energy management, so I only spend a certain and if I'm spending too much time with somebody who ain't listening, I'm missing somebody else that just walked by. So that's the dust off your feet and go to the next town.
There you go.
And go and when it happens, I'll be telling him, here it is. And at the end of the day, I'm going to need a security personnel, and guess who's going to be? I'm going to talk to first about being my head security, the guy I'm going to have right at my right hand side if I need him, and hiring anybody else that's involved. I'll hire him as my security detail because I know he's already been there, done that.
You should get Gina. She's a dead eye shot.
Women usually are.
We won't talk about that. That's
women usually are.
We're on record right now. Well, what I was going to say is there are so many people that get involved with the crypto or any investments for the quick payoff. They want the money right now. They need to see it. They need to feel it. As an empath, I feel everything before it happens. I can look at people in a room and I can just visually see what's going on in their minds. I get a sense so easily, very intuitive. And what I'm really noticing with this is the financial aspect. I mean, it's no different than it's always been, right? What is the root of all evil is the desire for money. And it's no different when we're looking at this new world, but people don't understand what this new world looks like, because as we talked about before, there's the great reset, but there's the great awakening. That's what we're going for. We're looking at the great awakening, and it's a completely different thing. So understanding that money does affect people's feelings, right? They just don't understand what really is going on. Our whole world is changing right now. The financial aspect of it is going to be huge, but they can't see it and understand how it's going to be such a positive effect for so many, because all they can see is, does it show me dollar signs? Am I going to get my Porsche? Because that's what I wanted it for. It's really unfortunate. But again,
show me the money. Show me the money.
But it's all about that frequency, because money does affect people internally. I'm a completely different person. I've had things and stuff. I've had a lot of money. You know what? I was not happy. I like a simple life. Now, does money affect everyone differently? Yes, but everyone's idea of success is different too. I want our world to be changed so positively. And the people that you're speaking of that kind of fell off, and stop talking about it and don't expect it, it's because they don't understand what's really happening in our world right now.
Well,
And I'll do my diligence by, when it does happen, I'll give them the information that they need. But with one friend of mine, I sent him a couple notes. I haven't talked to him in a while. I got on the phone. He says, "What's this?" I tried to explain it to him. For him, he didn't want to give out any personal information,
yeah,
email and stuff like that. But I told him, I said, here's what it is. I said, because there was a situation in high school. We went into a McDonald's. Somebody said something about his girl. These two guys were coming out, said something about his girlfriend. And he had some words with him. And then it was, well, let's go out back. And he turned to go walk with him. I turned. And then one of my other buddies says, "Where are you going?" I turned and looked at him. I said, "I'm going with him, because there's one thing that's not going to happen. He's not going to be able to come to me and say, 'Where were you?'" So I explained, I reiterated that story from our childhood with him. And I said, "I'm not going to let this whole thing happen and you say, 'Why didn't you tell me?'" Well,
Right.
here it is. Here it is. I told you about it. Ball's in your court. You can do what you will.
And
I
you're
sent you to-
absolutely, yeah, you absolutely should tell everybody about XRP and whatever things you think you're gonna, flourish in the future, because you don't want anybody coming knocking on your door and say, "You're a son of a bitch, Rick. You've had dinner at my house a million times. I've been to your birthdays parties. You've been to my birthday parties, and you didn't tell me about XRP. And you bought
Yeah.
XRP, and now you're a multi-gazillionaire, and I'm over here sucking wind." Now, the misnomer is this: a lot of people think that when Gesara Nesara gets rolled out, it's going to be utopia. Nobody has to go to work. No, 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 no. The way I see it rolling out, you guys can correct me if you think that I'm wrong, because I've been wrong before, is there's going to be a menu of options that are going to be humanitarian in nature. And yeah, there's going to be a $5,000 or a $6,000 a month UBI under Gesara Nesara, not under the global reset, where you're going to have nothing happy. Okay. But you're going to have to do something for that 5,000 or 6,000. It's not going to be a job. It's going to be a humanitarian project to help humanity advance.
There you go.
Okay. You get to pick from 29 different things that are on that menu. And the one that tickles you fancy, you say, "Yeah, I like to do this one." Boom. You have to go report to somebody and do something for that money. We're not just going to give you the money because we're under Gesara Nesara. We're not there yet. Are we going to get there? Probably in 30, 40 years. Yes. But we're not there yet.
Mhm.
So that's when the money disappears, right?
Well, in the meantime, though, if, speaking of those humanitarian projects, if there's not something on there that, tickles your fancy, create something.
Yeah.
I'm an ideas girl, and I think about this a lot. The ability to be able to implement something amazing that I'm passionate about, that I know will be beneficial for not just me, but for the people around me or for people in my community. It's so important. And again, it goes back to the frequency. It goes back to your heart and your soul and your faith. So the XRP, I truly believe that is the one. I believe that it's going to be huge and beneficial, but getting people's minds right, that's a big part of it. And for those
That's a big
people
challenge.
for those people that are not accepting the information, Razor, you can't waste your time, because what that does is it sucks you dry, right? You can't continue to do that. You can't let people feed off of you that way.
Trust me, I don't. And I've been at this street ministry and Watchman on the Wall calling for so long now. And it's second nature to me. It's like, I'll say my piece and then boom, I'll plant my seed.
Yeah.
I plant my seed and move on, and if some people are foolish enough to step up onto the discussion debate platform, and my saying is, I refuse to engage in a battle of wits with an unarmed person. And and basically, I've done a bunch of things. I tell people, it's like, I used to spread the narrative of what happened 9/11. I used to be at a party or something. I'd say, how many people believe that two planes took down the World Trade Centers 1 and 2? And you get some people. I do. I believe that. And I said, okay, let's put that off to the side. You know, what we're not going to discuss that right this second. And I look at him, I say, what took down World Trade Center 7?
Right.
And then, I actually ran one person. I'm not saying they were ready to jump and try to debate me or question my take on the whole thing that happened that day. But there was one person that just blew me away. And there was a World Trade Center 7. I'm like, and I'm thinking, here's a person who may or may not have possibly wanted to engage me in intellectual conversation and all the details and everything, and they didn't even know that World Trade Center 7 building even existed.
Yeah.
So you're coming to a gunfight with an empty chambers because you don't got all the intel information. Even if mine's wrong, I've talked to people and they say, well, why is this? Why is that? I said, you know what? I could overwhelm you right now with information, but I'm not going to. And the Facebook thing. You post an article, oh, that's fake. And I'm not even saying the article is true or what. I just post the article. I share the article, and I said, listen, that doesn't come. It doesn't become fake just because you say so. So I made this quote that I wrote. I said, I'll debate your information, but not your opinion. And your opinion doesn't make the information false.
Me and Mel just had that conversation.
Right.
And that entire thing in New York that happened to divert what? Divert Gesara Nesara.
Nesara. There you go.
And they
$2.3 trillion.
They will stop
$2.3
at
trillion
nothing.
missing from the Defense Department the day before.
Right.
They will stop
Three.
at
They
nothing.
signed in when Clinton was there, supposed to be
Right.
implemented with Bush, and then bam.
Yeah,
What?
they will stop at nothing. They will kill whoever gets in the
Sure.
way, and they don't
Absolutely.
care.
No,
Here's
it was interesting. It was interesting what Victoria Reynolds was saying about part of the GCR and the delay is that there's a lot of bad people that have a whole bunch of those currencies.
Yeah.
In our government, let's say Iraqi dinar, they got a whole bunch of them. Well, the good guys don't want the bad guys to rearm with a bunch more money.
Wealth, yeah.
With
Where
a bunch
they're
of wealth
going,
and
where they're
power.
going, or where they've gone already, probably most likely, they're not going to be able to
Sure.
spend any of it, and I'm sure a lot of
that's
it's
the
been
point.
confiscated.
That's the point.
Yeah,
Get
they
them
need
gone.
to be gone. Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a little piece of intel, maybe about 4, maybe 6 months old, that ties in with the 9/11 incident and the military tribunals and the people that have been picked up and tried and everything else. Chief Justice Roberts.
Yeah.
I read the intel that he was arrested, tribunaled, and I'm pretty sure he got executed, but his charges were pedophilia.
Oh, sure.
And he was the one that stole all that gold out of the New York Reserve, turned it over to Clinton Foundation, who turned it over to the Bushes.
Correct.
And here's the Gesara thing. For 16 years on the bench, he was the one getting in the way of all those prosperity payments and everything, and stalling the whole court cases for 16 years. That was his role in stopping those people, the farmers, the
Sure.
church groups, all that. So
I'm
there's
not disputing the information, Razor, but if that was the case, and I believe that at least 4 months ago, and it was probably 2 or 3 years ago that this actually happened.
Yeah, more than likely.
So if he's gone, because we know Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she was what is it, Weekend at Bernie's for at least 1.5 years. So she was gone a long time before they announced her departure. So if that's the case,
Queen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean
But
a
if
lot of these people, but I guess my point is, I guess I don't have a point. It's just a matter of there's an awful lot of stories. I believe a lot of them, but
They're very plausible.
those aren't the stories that convert anybody.
Right.
No.
You can't put your finger on it. There's nothing tangible there.
That being said,
Things
like, so I talked about this on one of the other calls, with religion, and how anything in this world is perverted by man. It is not God that perverted anything, that has to do with the church. It's people. And you think about that, and it's got to hit your heart knowing that the Catholic Church, the Pope, if you just look at the inside of, if people can't see if they can't see some of the evil that's been hidden, and it's now come out that it's been covered up, that there's been molestation, and there's been so much of it.
Yeah.
And so I guess, I don't know.
But it doesn't,
it
doesn't have anything to do with the Catholic people, though.
No, that's
the church.
Exactly what I'm saying.
There's tons of great Catholic people. They're just unaware. They don't know. Actually, there's a whole bunch of good United States American citizens.
Yeah.
That are patriots. Yeah. And there's a good chance that the rest of the world's going to be pointing a gun right at us for the things that our politicians and crooks have been doing for years.
Yeah.
And now, are we going to be prepared to actually stand up against the whole rest of the world? Or is it just going to be somebody else's fault again? Because I think that those politicians, of course, are going to be taken off the playing field if they haven't already. But that's what I see. Russia, China, and the rest of the civilized world coming around and saying, "What the fuck you guys been doing with all these laboratories all over the world?
Pure evil. What's
going on? What is up with all these Frankenstein, experiments that you've been doing?
That was funded by our dollars.
With our tax dollars. It's the stuff that it's pitchfork time real soon. I hope, I hope that
there is a price to pay when you are distracted with The Price is Right. Let's make a stupid effing deal. Okay. And Gilligan's Island and all the bullshit. My mom and my dad watched The Honeymooners 100 times each episode. They knew each line by heart.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And that whole thing was about what? Bringing in feminism.
There you go.
The whole show was about getting feminine. What's the guy that made that documentary? I talked to him on the phone maybe twice. Aaron Russo.
Oh yeah.
America from Freedom to Fascism.
Yeah.
Okay. He basically said it. He said what? He said David Rockefeller said, "Who do you think started the feminist movement?" Because we did.
Sure.
They fund all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Even the books your kids read in the school are funded by the Rockefellers, and they sell the books to the schools at a loss of 2/3.
Right.
So if you and I were to get into the book business, it'd be a losing proposition. How the hell do you go against the Rockefellers who are willing to take a 66% loss on selling the books to all these different, governments, sub-governments, and towns and counties? So they get to dictate what's in the book, which is nothing more than brainwashing.
Yeah.
They must have had a long game in mind.
Right.
Right.
Dumb them down.
Right.
Well, the one thing that still stops them today, and the real question would be how much longer will it stop people, is the United States Patriot is the largest unofficial army in the world.
Oh, no, I understand.
So
I understand.
that kind of plays in our favor. You're right. You're right. They should be thoroughly pissed at what's been done.
An awful lot of those countries don't ever need to even step foot on American soil to be able to take care of this. I mean,
but
reality, it's not hand-to-hand combat anymore. I mean, it could be, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
This is Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, now there'll be space age weapons. They say that the soldiers down in the tunnels are already using high tech weapons that we don't. And I watched that happen because I remember the article that said we spend $500,000 training soldiers for tunnel warfare before all that stuff happened. They were getting ready. I seen the article. Probably didn't know what to do with it, but I
remember the article. Yeah, it was more. I think it was like $500 billion that they actually spent total. Yeah, it was a big number. It was
I
such a
remember
big
a
number
five.
that made you stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and
you're
it
like,
was
tunnel
like,
warfare. You know, I saw Forrest Gump. He just took a flashlight and a 45 and went into the tunnel. This was a whole
Right.
different thing, you know. So, yeah.
yeah, it
Have you
was like
guys,
the,
oh, go ahead.
it was like that time when they were training our soldiers before Iraq for urban warfare. You know, breaching a building, going through doors, clearing rooms and stuff. Same kind of thing. They were preparing for a certain scenario, if you will, strategically. And all right,
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
speaking of war, have you guys seen the Vladimir Putin interviews with Oliver Stone? Sorry, I do that every
No.
single time. With Oliver Stone. Have you watched that series?
No, no, I haven't.
You have to do it.
It's from 2015 to 2017. So it took a couple of years. It's 4 hours. It's a little hard to watch because it's subtitals.
It's not, it's amazing.
But you watch him from 2015 to 2017. He knows exactly what the West has been trying to do.
Well,
encroach.
The reason why I ask is because, you know, we're talking about war and whatnot, but you think about how hard the media and everyone that is pure evil in this world was hitting Trump, and they're still hitting him because they don't want him in office. They'll do anything.
Well,
when you watch this series, you will see what they have been doing.
It's on Showtime. It's on Showtime on Amazon.
You got to watch all 4 of them. I'm telling you, I know it's 4 hours, but whenever you guys have the opportunity, you got to watch them because it is incredible. First of all, Putin is a very intelligent man, and he has quite a background. You know, I'm not saying, oh, I love Vladimir Putin.
No,
I just know what's really happening in our world right now. And after watching that from years ago, it is incredible how much information you will get from it as to what is happening right now.
Well,
And
first off,
it's like
Putin
Trump.
is a,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Razor. He's muted.
I think what we were saying was, what I was going to say is that it's like what Trump said at the United Nations, that globalism is dead and that we need to all be patriots. Each of our own countries, you're patriots in your own country. Take care of your own country. Do what's best for your country.
right.
You know, it's not about this collectivism. So
I had a phone call come in. Am I still in
No,
there?
no worries. It's fine. So, yeah.
Am I-
I think, you know, looking at things logically without putting dates, I think we're in the final stretch, but the final stretch could still be a year or two. Because if we have a war going on with Russia and Ukraine, or surgical strikes, call it what you may, but it's some kind of a war.
sure.
And we're getting supposedly there are rumors, I think you said that too, Razor, where supposedly that Taiwan was already taken care of quietly. And
I think
Iran and we're talking about 4 different countries going to war.
that's what I wanted to touch on, because I had a conversation with somebody about this, and they're trying to tell me, well, this can't happen, this can't start, and everything else because of Gesara law and all that says no wars. I said, and then she starts going off about. I said, whoa, stop. First off, the Ukrainian thing and Russia and everything, that is not a war. Okay, that is part of the draining of the swamp. All this stuff that looks like war, I get it, is draining the swamp. It's part of the necessary plan that has to happen to divest ourselves of all this evil in the world. So, you know, especially in the eyes of, you know, the galactics or whomever, it can't be considered a war, because it's not a country invading a country for resources or whatever squabble that's going on. We're going down there and freeing kids, going into tunnels, biolabs. We're draining the swamp. So, you know, that's the problem. Everybody keeps calling, well, it's a war. It's war. No, it's not a war. It's if anything, it's a pretty harsh intervention into society that's been run amok. and been run over and trampled on and abused, people hiding in Ukraine in their basements for 8 years now because of this is before.
But where does this go? Where does this go?
What do you mean?
It's not a war. How does that pertain to Nesara Gesara?
It specifically says in there, no more wars.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between countries, no more of this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's total level in the playing field. We get along, we work for humanity and redo the earth. I mean, it's all, that's why you got people like Putin, Trump, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong, and all that working together. You would never see these people in a room together, you know,
No.
and during the cabal thing, because the cabal was, you know, paying people off, you know, just like economic hitman explained. That's the narrative in the template that they've been using forever, in and out, in and out. Vietnam.
I think one of the things that this is doing is it is showing people. So if you're so worried about the border of Ukraine being invaded by Russia, what the hell do you think is going on right now with the United States of America? Our borders are wide open. Or you think about, okay, so the economics of it. Okay, so you're gonna shut this down and do this to Russia and not allow their gas, oil, whatever. Well, if you shut theirs down and you know it's affecting their economy, what the fuck did you think it was doing to ours when you shut off ours, right? I mean, come on, people are waking up.
This is scorched
slowly.
earth. This is scorched earth.
I think it has to be. I mean, what do they always say about XRP? It rises from the ashes.
Exactly.
We haven't seen the ashes yet. The Phoenix hasn't had a chance to rise yet because we haven't seen the ashes yet.
My brother sent me an article today from realnews.com. You ready for this? It says, if Biden is truly the president, then why should he be begging Trump for the nuclear codes?
Yeah. Right. I saw that too. I said that the other day.
Yeah.
Hello, is anybody home?
Right.
If Biden is the president, why is he powerless in shutting down Guantanamo Bay?
Right.
Right. Exactly.
There's clues. There's clues everywhere you go. Remember the video where Biden's hand passed through the microphone and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Supposedly he was getting on Marine One at that time, yet his hair ain't moving. And then when the camera moved back, Marine One was sitting over there, but it wasn't running. It was just sitting there. Okay. Another time I see Kamala walking towards the camera, Marine One's in the background. And a couple people were about halfway. They approached her. They said a few things to each other, and then she continues walking towards you and everything. And then she turns left to go to the staircase to supposedly get on Air Force Two. And the camera just opens up a little bit more, and then there's nothing at the top of the ladder. Okay.
Right.
But that being what it is, I've seen pictures of supposedly her Secret Service. And if you remember the Pelosi thing in the Marshals,
sure.
Okay, that one Amazon blonde Marshal, she was in that contingency escorting Kamala. But the one thing I really seen about the scene of her supposedly walking from Marine One to Air Force Two, never mind the fact that Air Force Two wasn't there, and then they green screened it in later. From a security standpoint, which I know nothing about, but I'm escorting a high value person from one conveyance to another, and that conveyance in the background they just came from isn't running.
Right.
And then
there's
I'm
so
taking
many
her.
pieces.
Oh yeah.
So many things.
You know, if I gotta change directions and go back to the one I just came from, it needs to be running the whole time until I get them safely on the next conveyance. It's
This is why
wow, there you go.
I say, when this whole thing is over, XRP, the lawsuit, everything goes away. This guy's looking for the nuclear codes. This administration couldn't be trusted with a platoon of fucking Boy Scouts with BB guns.
Right.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he can write checks right now, but I think they might be bouncing. You know what I'm saying? So he says, here, no, Ukraine, I want to send you 1.4 billion. and they say cash or check. He goes, check. Come on, man. I'm the U.S. government. It's a check. It's good. Trust me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's but it's a joke.
If he
Did
had
you-
nuclear
you-
weapons right now, he would turn everything into glass just to get rid of the evidence, because there's so much evidence stacked up against him. It's not even funny.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you ever hear the story about when Biden tried to finally go to the Pentagon and he got refused entrance, and what
Sure.
happened to Miley that day when they arrested Miley and the general of the National Guard?
General Milley?
And Milley,
No.
yeah,
Oh,
You thought
okay.
it was Miley Cyrus?
I was like, who?
Milley.
Sorry.
Well, he was denied entrance. He was going down there because Trump was supposed to be there, and I guess they played out the scenario that I'm going to go down there and catch Trump at the Pentagon, you know, kind of thing. I'm the president, you're not. What are you doing here talking to them? But we already know what the real story is. But when he was denied entrance to the Pentagon and just basically told to go, Milley found out about it. He drags all the other chiefs of staff in and just berates them and says, you know, you're going to pay hell for this. I'm going to report you to Biden and Harris and everything else. Blah, 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 you know, you're going to be out of here and whatever. He was just going off on him. And he said, I'll give you one more chance to align yourself and swear, you know, allegiance to Biden and Harris. And the only one that did it was the general of the National Guard. He says, you know, I'm with you and everything else. And then Milley was saying, okay, yeah, that's right, you know. And the general of the Marines he kind of chuckles and he says, we've been waiting for this. And he pulls an envelope out and hands him the arrest warrant. And he goes, oh, this is bull. You know, he's staring it up and everything. About 15 security for the Pentagon come in and slap the cuffs on both of them.
I'm so ready to see the arrests. Like you said earlier, tribunals ready.
EBS.
Expose the evil, hold them accountable, show everyone it's time.
But XRP to the moon.
Bitches.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. You know, I'm going to tell you, like I said, this whole thing has got to come to an end, and it's all stems with the lawsuit. When the lawsuit, I think the lawsuit could be over right now. It could be. They just haven't figured out the wording, because there's no way. See, if someone accuses me of rape and I know 100,000,000% I'm innocent, I'm not going to settle.
No.
I'm not settling.
No.
And I got all the proof that I'm innocent. I'm not settling. I'm going to fight you.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Take
that's
that
where we're at. Yeah. So a lot of people think that, you know, there's a few XRP Army guys. I don't know how they come to this assumption. I have no idea what they're drinking early in the morning. Their milk must be spiked. Okay. Because they're basically saying that, you know, XRP is going to settle. I don't see that happening. I mean,
No
if
way.
you look at the last couple of days and follow the lawsuit, what's going on,
Yeah.
there's no question that this lawsuit cannot be won by the SEC.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% that this lawsuit's actually already settled behind closed
That's going to be the
doors.
marker. I
And-
think the marker of Gesara Nesara coming in is the
Yep.
lawsuit of XRP Ripple. Why? Because XRP Ripple is the bus that's going to drive Gesara.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
So I read, I don't remember which article or, you know, which news article it was that I was reading, but it stated if the SEC doesn't settle with Ripple, it will lose on the fair notice defense. And then it stated that Ripple settled with FinCEN in 2015 with no SEC action. And then lastly, Brad Garlinghouse has met with SEC from 2017 to 2019 several times. SEC didn't get involved. There was no action. So why? And why now?
They
And
have
so we can ask
recordings.
ourselves those questions, right?
They have recordings that the SEC is telling Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson that you guys are not a security, you're a monetary system. Okay? The reason why they're not allowed to leave the United States is very simple. They're going to merge with the Treasury. The XRP at some point may very well become the new US dollar,
Right.
global reserve currency, not just a bridge
Right.
currency. If it works so well, why not use it as currency?
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about this for just a narrative that this is all stagecraft. All this has to happen in a sequential order, if you will. And if the like you said, SEC and this, that, and the other thing didn't get involved. So if that were the case here, all this would already be off and running, but they needed it in step with what's going to happen. One thing has to happen first,
Yeah.
and
Right.
this, that, you know, it just
The
has,
marker,
they
the marker is going to be the SEC lawsuit.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the biggest
So
domino that's got to fall.
Right, but
Yeah.
it could all be it could all just be a bunch of paperwork and a narrative, and of course it doesn't have any teeth, but it's still a braking mechanism, if you will. The white hats could be they could have put it in place just to use it so they can, you know,
They
announce
could-
it to the
They
world.
could announce
you know.
it tomorrow, but the turkey's not ready to come out of the oven yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little button hasn't popped out.
Yeah, a little
Right.
popped, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That little button could be a nuclear missile. Well, hopefully not. I don't think it's going to come to that.
No,
You know?
it's not going to.
That's where the nuclear codes are probably hiding inside the turkey that's inside the oven.
Right?
But
Right.
Biden doesn't know that. He doesn't know what freaking planet he's on.
The old butter,
You
the
know?
old butterball.
Butterball.
Yeah.
I
No, it's, go ahead.
I have this theory that the rigging of the White House and the Capitol to be imploded, and then make it look like a World War III scare event.
Well, listen.
Might also
Let's
be a
talk-
way to cover where all these people are gone. All the
Yeah, let's talk about the
everybody
White
was-
House. Let's talk about the White House. From what I
Yeah.
understand, the tribunals are not only going on down at the spa in Cuba, they're going on right inside the White House. When did you ever see the White House and the Capitol fencing, barbed wire fencing, all this crap, all these
Still.
elusive
Yeah.
characters with dark windows, vehicles all over the place, security everywhere? When did you see the operation of the White House operate in the manner that it's operating right now?
Right.
Never.
Never.
When have you ever seen a president come out and speak supposedly at the White House, but as the cameraman accidentally was too far back, you see it's a full sound stage.
It's a set.
It's a set. I mean, is this like it's like the filming of Good Times or
Yeah.
the Jeffersons?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a
And
set.
how about the evergreen containers outside Biden's window in the
Right.
Oval Office? Did you see that
Yes.
one?
There you go.
That was-
Absolutely.
And how about the BMWs? There was another clip with BMWs and Mercedes Benz.
saw it.
It's a parking lot. The last time I remember, outside of the Oval Office is green grass with trees and leaves and that kind of shit, right?
Absolutely.
Well, in that on the same day, there was another clip of Trump's reflection in one of those windows. I was like, what is happening right now?
He is the biggest troll in the
I
whole world. That's why
love
it's so
it.
much fun.
Yes.
Dude,
He
do
doesn't
you guys know who Madison Marquette is?
I do
don't.
not.
Okay, it's an older video with Michael Jaco, and he's got a lady from England that's been involved in the sex trafficking and all that. And then there was another lady, but in lower left corner is Madison Marquette, who her story is she was abused as a child and eventually went into porn. She was personally trafficked by Epstein. She was at the tribunals at the White House. She started name dropping like crazy in this video, and it was it was days after Nancy Drew was filming on the streets there, and she says, "I see a bunch of vans at the White House. I don't know what's going on, but I do see a lot of camera equipment being loaded up and everything." She didn't know what it was, but then a few days later, I see this video, and Madison said she was there testifying against Biden. And she was name dropping like she dropped TD Jakes, Rick Warren.
Sure.
She didn't have anything solid on Matthew McConaughey, but she did shed some light that the reason why they probably wanted him to run for governor of Texas is then he could control the Texas border. Woo! I
Well, let me
mean,
ask you a question. Wasn't this lady you're talking about that was supposedly in the tribunals at the
Yes.
White House?
As
Yes.
a witness.
Wasn't this lady interviewed a
wit-
few months back by Nino
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
maybe him too, but she was
Yeah,
on
it was.
Jayco's.
Same girl.
Yep. Same.
Yeah,
She
girl.
said,
same girl was there?
I saw the interview. She sounded very credible to me.
Right.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
I didn't recognize the name, but now that you're telling
If
me what it
that's
is,
her,
I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
the-
I
the
wonder
scenario.
why Nino never had her back.
What she was saying in that one I watched is, they're wanting her to come in, back and forth. And basically she wanted to just get it done. Let's just do this all at once so I can go back to my life.
Yeah,
She wanted
imagine having to rip that Band-Aid off over and over and over. That's
Yeah.
not something
Yeah.
you want to keep living.
Yeah.
So
It's,
that would explain why she isn't back, because she said her piece, she presented her evidence, and it's a matter of record. So she wanted to go back to her kids and people, and she wanted to go back and hide out because somebody could still find her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking
where's
about,
Ghislaine? Where's Maxwell? What's happening with that?
She's in room 302.
Yeah, and there was something else I wanted to touch on that's really important too. Well, forgot.
I think Nino is. Being handled by the White Hats.
Okay, Nino. Okay, you just refreshed my memory.
Yeah.
Nino had an interview about 2 weeks ago, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, with Kerry Cassidy
Yep.
on a private channel, and the video only exists on her platform and ninoscorner.com.
Okay.
I watched it live because she sent me a link. She said, you better join. I'm going to blow, Anyway, long story short, she convinced Nino Rodriguez, the boxer, that 107 is JFK Jr.
Yes.
And she had some very interesting anomalies. I got to tell her to send me that video because I want to send it to you guys privately.
Yeah.
You guys are on my mailing list. And Nino was saying, holy shit, I think you're right. I think he is. The next day, Nino has a show on his own.
Yeah.
Doesn't mention a word, not a single word. I called Kerry. I said, Kerry, what's going on? I said, he's live and he hasn't talked about what you guys talked about yesterday. Because yesterday I said he was convinced. I said, you convinced him that 107 is JFK Jr. Today he doesn't. He says, Mel, he's a good little soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had the
the
interview.
He
Yeah.
knows a lot more than he leads on.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, he had you probably saw his interview with 107 where 107 was sitting backwards. He was sitting facing the
The
camera.
window.
Yeah, no, not the one with the window. So 107's looking towards the window. Nino's looking towards you.
Right. That's the one.
Okay.
Yes.
At the end, because they always, one always has his camera where you can see maybe part of a hand or this or that, but you never see any part of his face. Well, all of a sudden he had a big Santa Claus beard. He had a big white Santa Claus beard right at the end. You only saw it for just about 30 seconds at the most. But here's the Santa Claus beard. Whereas 107, who's supposed to be Wayne Willett, I believe.
That was,
He came in about in like November in Las Vegas, hops out of his Aston Martin, rolls in, and he looks like I kept looking at him going, that looks like a guy with a fat suit on.
Yeah.
He doesn't look, his
Santa
hands
Claus.
aren't big enough. His feet aren't big. He doesn't look right. He doesn't
Proportions.
proportionately look right, but he had a big fat.
That's exactly what Kerry Cassidy said. She thinks that he's wearing a costume every day. And so
Exactly.
for him to go through that ritual every day, she said, I feel sorry for him
Yeah.
to have
And
to put on
it is
that
what it is.
costume. And
the educator guy.
when he came out with his first documentary about a year and a half, 2 years ago, remember this? With the old pickup truck. Remember the very first documentary when he burst onto the scene? Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't a big fat guy.
He basically was given the message, hey, I'm, 107 is JFK Jr. That's what I
Without
thought.
a doubt. Did you guys ever, Mel, did you ever watch The Gunner's Wife? It's a YouTube channel. Okay. You got to watch it. Now, it is such a trip because it is Trump at rallies with Melania and Vincent Fusca, another JFK in disguise, and his wife, and they're reading the lips, but they're not just reading the lips of Vincent Fusca and this other person that's his wife. They're reading the lips of the other people that are around and watching.
You gotta
And
see
it
it.
is unbelievable. It's undeniable. It's
Yeah,
undeniable.
no, Vincent
And then
Fusca is
to
definitely not JFK Jr.
What's that?
Vincent Fusca is definitely not JFK Jr. He's 7 inches shorter.
Well, whatever. I was
Yeah.
telling you, you know,
Platforms.
Reason why
You know,
the reason I know that is because somebody on YouTube actually went to Washington, D.C. at an event,
I've
and
I've
they
seen
actually
the
debunked the
counter.
whole thing.
I've seen the counter. I'm not
What's
saying
the other one?
I'm not telling you that Vincent Fusca is JFK Jr.
No.
But I'm
But
telling you,
Gunner's wife, the way that she does,
has described it, and the view.
it's done really well.
You know how a woman, when she is beaming, right? Trump walks over to say, JF, you know, he's here, he's right behind
in
you,
her food,
and she turns around to say,
in her throat, pour some water and zeolite powder.
he turns around to, you there?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm in.
Yeah, anyways, I'm messing it all
Send
up
me a
by trying
link.
to
Send me a
describe
link. I'll
this
probably
thing,
watch it
but
this weekend.
It's worthwhile. Everybody believes what they believe, but yeah,
listen,
JFK
we're
is
in a
coming
movie.
back.
We see a lot of the same things. We believe in a lot of the same things. It just baffles me that nobody else can see it. You know, like all these normies. It's just like, you know.
Yeah, it's it's tough, man. But it's, you know, I do think that there's so many distractions in the world. There's so many distractions that for them, you know, they got Dancing with the Stars and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is on Tuesdays. And, you know, I got to go to, you know, soccer practice, whatever. So they got all these different things going on. And until it affects them. So that's like when you hit the nail on the head when you said when it's $20 a gallon for gas and it's you know, $18 for a dozen eggs. That's when all of a sudden a lot of people will go, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What's really
You know what?
going on?
If that's what it takes, I say bring it on. Let's go. Let's get it over with. Let's go.
The-
I'm ready to pay $18 for a dozen
Easy.
eggs. I'm ready.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll pay the tuition for them to wake up.
Razor, I think you're ready for a YouTube channel. I think you should start one. I'll help you guide it along. You can interview me. I can interview you. We can make the announcement because I need people like you guys that talk about the RV and XRP and the lawsuit and all the stuff we talk about to break off.
I did start a Telegram channel called Razor's Edge.
Right. And I want to make an announcement to the slowly but surely to the XRP Army 1.0 and let them I want to let them know 2.0 is here, bitch. You know?
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about the right stuff. So cool. Sounds good. Hey, there, that's a beautiful dog. Gorgeous. Guys, it's been real. We had some fun. We'll got to do it again. Razor, definitely. Let's talk about that. You and I at some point. I definitely want to. I see you're ready, man. You're ready. You're like a wound up, and so are you, Gina. Both of you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys should do a husband and wife team, and talk about the right stuff.
No, I have a day job. She's got to do that.
Well, you do
I'll
it
handle
at
that
nighttime.
shit. I'll handle it.
You do one video at night, or you do one every other day. You do 3-4 videos a week. That's all you need.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, sure.
And
Really
you could
appreciate it, Mel.
you could call your channel XRP, the right stuff. I love it.
There you go.
We'll get it dialed.
Yeah. Very good.
I got my title, and
There you go.
because I already done some YouTube things called Razor Rick Rides
There you go.
on my bike. Driving a 60-foot boom lift through the aisles at SEMA the night
There you
before
go.
the show opened. You gotta watch that video.
Sounds good, guys.
Yeah.
We're signing off.
Have a great night,
Have a good one.
guys.
All
Yes.
right, God bless.
Thanks, Mel.
Bye-bye.
Bye.